In the quiet days of early America, when villages were small and homes stood far apart among fields and forests, there lived a little boy named Henry. His family did not have wealth, yet they possessed something greater than gold: contentment, gratitude, and a deep respect for the blessings of life. Henry's home was a modest wooden cottage at the edge of a wheat field that stretched toward distant hills painted purple in the evening light. The walls were built from pine logs that his grandfather had hewn with his own hands decades before. Each beam fitted with the patience of a craftsman who understood that a home must shelter not just bodies but souls. The roof was shingled by his father's careful hands, each piece of cedar laid with precision, and the air around it always carried the mingled scents of earth, firewood, wild roses that climbed the fence posts, and the ever present aroma of baking bread that seemed to float from the chimney like a blessing. Inside, the home was simple, but it rang with warmth, care, and the steady rhythm of honest labor. The floors were wide pine planks, worn smooth by generations of footsteps and covered here and there with braided rugs that Henry's grandmother had made from scraps of worn clothing, turning cast-offs into something beautiful and useful. The walls bore no fancy paintings, but they held treasures far more precious. His mother's samplers with verses from scripture worked in careful stitches, dried herbs hanging in fragrant bundles, and the few books that had traveled with the family from distant shores. His father, Thomas, was a man of few words but great strength, who rose before dawn each day to tend the land with the devotion of one who understood that the earth was not merely to be used but stewarded. His hands were calloused from the plough and scarred from countless small injuries that come to those who work with wood and metal and growing things. Yet they were gentle when he lifted Henry to his shoulders to watch the sunset paint the wheat field gold. His mother, Sarah, worked by the great stone hearth that dominated one wall of their main room, cooking, sewing, and teaching her children lessons not only for the mind but also for the heart. She possessed the quiet wisdom of women who have learned to find abundance in simplicity, and her voice carried the music of old hymns as she went about her daily tasks. Her bread was renowned throughout their small community, not merely for its flavor but for the love that seemed kneaded into every loaf. Henry was a boy full of energy, with thoughtful brown eyes that reflected the changing seasons and a quiet spirit that often made him notice things others overlooked. The way morning mist rose from the creek behind their house, how the barn cats moved with silent grace through the tall grass, or the particular sound the wind made when it passed through different trees. He had two younger sisters, Mary and Ruth, who looked up to him with the adoration that little ones reserve for big brothers who tell stories and share secrets. He learned early that everything his family owned had been earned through hard work and divine providence. The bread that graced their simple wooden table was not just food, it was the fruit of his father's sweat under the relentless summer sun, the result of his mother's patient hands kneading dough in the early morning hours, and the gracious rain and sunshine sent by the Almighty. Even their few chickens represented careful saving and planning, and the eggs they provided were gathered with thanksgiving. One crisp afternoon in late October, when the harvest was finished and the barn stood full of golden grain, the smell of fresh bread filled their cottage like incense. The day had been spent in the satisfying work of preparation for winter: wood split and stacked, vegetables stored in the root cellar, preserves lined up on the pantry shelves like jewels. Henry's mother handed him a thick slice of bread, still warm from the Dutch oven, the crust dark and crackling, the inside soft and fragrant with the wholesome smell of honest grain. He carried it outside and settled upon the wide stone doorstep that his father had laid the previous spring, where the late golden light of autumn rested gently on the weathered stones like a benediction. The air was crisp with the promise of winter, and the maple tree beside the house blazed scarlet against the blue sky. Slowly and gratefully he ate the soft bread, savoring each bite as though it carried within it the strength of the fields, the warmth of the hearth, and the care of his home. When he had nearly finished, a single crust remained in his small hand, hard and rough, darkened from the oven's heat. For a brief moment, the careless thought of tossing it aside entered his mind. After all, it was only a hard piece, small and seemingly insignificant, and what harm would there be in letting it fall upon the ground to be forgotten? Yet almost at once, another thought rose up within him, the remembered teaching of his mother, who often reminded him with gentle but firm words that even the smallest crumb was not to be wasted. Bread was the gift of toil and the sign of blessing. To waste it was to forget both the labor that produced it and the gratitude it deserved. Henry sat still, looking at the crust while the shadows lengthened around him. A small battle stirred in his young heart between thoughtlessness and thankfulness, between the easy path of carelessness and the harder way of consideration. He could hear his mother's voice in his memory, speaking of the many who had less, of the seasons when even their family had known want, of the sacred duty to honor what God had provided. At last he rose from the doorstep, and instead of casting the piece carelessly away, he walked to a smooth, flat stone by the path that led to their gate. With the solemnity of one performing a ritual, he placed the crust carefully upon it, whispering to himself that if he could not eat it, perhaps some creature of the woods might find in it the sustenance it needed. Not long after, while the yard lay wrapped in the peaceful silence of evening, a small brown sparrow descended from the gnarled apple tree nearby. Henry watched through the window as the tiny bird approached the stone with quick, cautious movements. With a light hop, it reached the offering, seized the crust in its small beak, and flew off with a cheerful chirp that seemed to Henry like a song of thanksgiving. Watching from the doorway, the boy felt a strange gladness bloom in his chest. What had seemed small and useless to him had become life and sustenance to another of God's creatures. From that day forward, Henry formed a habit that would shape his character for years to come. Whenever he had crumbs or crusts that he could not eat, he would save them carefully and set them out upon the stone. Soon his doorstep became a place of daily pilgrimage. Sparrows came often, their small brown forms fluttering down like fallen leaves. Robins arrived with their red breasts shining in the morning sun, and even a bold blue jay began to visit, filling the quiet air with its lively chatter and flash of brilliant color. What had begun as a single act of care became a daily practice, and the once quiet yard grew alive with song and movement. Henry found himself rising earlier, eager to see which of his feathered friends would visit, and his sisters would often join him at the window to watch the small drama of survival and kindness that played out each day by their door. Winter descended with unusual severity that year, covering the fields in heavy snows that seemed to muffle all sound and movement. The familiar paths disappeared under white blankets, and food became scarce for both man and beast. The land, once full of life and plenty, seemed bare and still, wrapped in the profound silence that only deep snow can bring. Yet the birds, remembering where kindness had been found in abundance, continued to come to Henry's doorstep. They arrived shivering and hungry, their usual bright songs replaced by urgent, desperate calls, trusting that even in the cold and want, the boy who never wasted a crumb would provide for them. His father watched this daily ritual with increasingly thoughtful eyes. He observed how his son's small, faithful care had become a lifeline for creatures that otherwise might have perished in the harsh winter. Thomas saw in his boy's simple kindness a reflection of divine providence itself. Placing a strong, work-worn hand on Henry's shoulder one evening as they watched the last birds of the day gather the scattered crumbs, he told him with quiet conviction that nothing given in genuine kindness is ever wasted, and that even the smallest act has profound meaning when done with a grateful heart. Henry carried this lesson with him as he grew from boy to man. He became known throughout their growing village as one who lived simply, worked diligently, and shared freely with any who had need. He never despised little things or small acts of service, for he had learned in his boyhood that a crumb of bread may be a feast to one who hungers, and that faithfulness in small matters prepares the heart for greater responsibilities. As the years passed and Henry married and raised children of his own, he taught them the same lesson he had learned at that stone by the path. His own sons and daughters learned to place their crusts carefully for the birds, and in doing so, learned that waste is born of carelessness and ingratitude, but blessing springs eternal from hearts filled with thanksgiving. And so, through all his long and useful life, Henry honored the truth that had shaped his boyhood, that in God's economy, nothing offered in love is too small to matter, and every crumb saved in gratitude becomes a seed of greater blessing. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Bright Owl for more inspiring stories and insightful content. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Until next time, stay curious, stay wise, and keep shining with Bright Owl.